Welcome back to Vikings Game Plan from the TCO studios. It's winning formula time, provided by Mystic Lake Casino Hotel. Paul Allen, Ron Johnson, Vikings Game Day Live, Fox 9, and Cy Amundson, Vikings.com and the Vikings Entertainment Network. The San Francisco 49ers are the 1 seed in the NFC for a reason. 13 wins, NFC West champions, and they got some off time to chill for this divisional round playoff game. So, Ron, the 49ers, stream your consciousness. What makes this team so good?
Well, first it starts with their defense. Their defense is extremely elite, but you look at Richard Sherman. Everybody wrote him off. He did his own contract. He was his own agent this year, and it paid off $4 million in bonuses because he played the entire season, because he hit all of his bonuses. So that's where it starts. And then he brought that Seattle type of atmosphere to them. You got Bosa. He's a guy that's going to get after the quarterback. And so when you start there and then you work your way back to that back end of those DBs, the only thing they need their quarterback to do is not turn the ball over. You look at Jimmy Garoppolo, 16 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in the red zone.
Whoa, a Bigfoot sighting. We just saw a Dante Pettis touchdown, but anyway.
And that's the key there is when you look at them in the red zone, he's not actually doing a ton. Why? Because they can do this in the red zone with Raheem Mostert. So they are able to run the ball in the red zone, but Jimmy Garoppolo only 2 interceptions in the red zone this season.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest key.
Cy, your thoughts on the Niners?
Oh, man, it's pretty rare where I think a lot of people agree we got one of the best teams in the NFC last week. We get another one this week. You don't get that back-to-back, even in the playoffs sometime. Yeah. You said something on the radio last week that hit me. It was that the Saints don't hide anything. Right? They just show you what they're going to do, and they beat you. This team is a lot trickier. They do a lot of weird stuff. It's kind of like going to a 1-year-old's birthday party in the afternoon and a 21st birthday in the evening. Like, yes, they are both birthday parties, but different stuff is going to happen at those things. So if you can beat the Saints the way we had to beat them, and then this team the way you have to beat them, that's the right direction.
Take a look at that final nugget under San Francisco treat. Point differential. The Niners, 3rd in the NFL, plus 169 points. Quickly, Ron, this is a team that has built big leads against, quite honestly, some bad teams, and then has held on a little bit. So I think that points differential a little skewed.
It is skewed, but it's huge for them. Their first quarter has kind of been their key. If they get off to a fast start, their defense is tough to score on them. I think that's going to be the biggest key for this Vikings team. You have to get off to a fast start against the 49ers.
Now, for San Francisco, there are some Levi luminaries. With Pete Bursage analyzing film earlier, we paid attention to George Kittle. He's a problem. Might be the best overall tight end in the NFL. These Levi luminaries, George Kittle.
Yeah, George Kittle, I mean, he is absolutely hard to cover. He lines up in the slot. He's going to do some motioning and take jet sweeps. He's going to be out wide like Gronk. And the one thing about Jimmy Garoppolo, on 3rd down, right now in the NFL, they've completed 90 of their 3rd downs out of 200 attempts, which is, I think, 5th in the NFL. Of those 90, 27 catches went to Kittle. So 30% of his 3rd down throws are going to George Kittle. And so he's telling you flat out, I'm going to Kittle. You have to figure out how to stop him. And I think that's what Brady did with Gronk. And we know Garoppolo came from the Brady tree, so he understands my tight end's going to help me out this entire game.
Cy Amundson, I sense George Kittle is giving you anxiety right now.
Oh, my God. I mean, there is a swagger to every member of this team that is shocked. George Kittle looks like he's about to jump his motorbike over Snake Canyon and complete it. Like, it's the coaches, too. Like, Saleh on the sideline, just the way everybody – you hit Richard Sherman and how he bet on himself, all the way to Bosa staking the flag in the field. There's just a confidence on this team, and it just drips off of Kittle's silly facial hair.
Now, Richard Sherman has vast playoff experience. He's a Levi luminary. But, Ron, so is DeForest Buckner. Now, the Vikings beat San Francisco in 2018. First game of the season, DeForest Buckner had 2.5 sacks in that game. He has 7.5 this year, but there are a bunch of guys on that speedy defense who like to get after your quarterback.
Yeah, Eric Armstead and Bosa are the 2 guys why DeForest Buckner's having a great season. Why? Because you can't double team inside. When you look at those defensive ends, it's like Everson Griffin and Danielle Hunter. Your 3 technique and your 5 technique are going to have one-on-one matchups versus the guards and the center. And so the guards and the center are going to have to decide, are we going to double DeForest Buckner or are we going to worry about Bosa? And I think that's the key. The tight ends are going to be a big part of this game because they're going to have to chip the end so that the interior can handle those 2 monsters and go 3-on-2.
All right, now these 49ers, they did play a last place schedule, okay, because they had an awful 2018. Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. Everything went pear-shaped. They have played a last place schedule, but they are class tested. I mean, we have a tight game at Baltimore nearing the end of the season. They went to New Orleans and beat the Saints like the Vikings did. They destroyed Green Bay. Vikings couldn't beat Green Bay. Ron, this is a class-tested bunch.
Yeah, and they've won some tight games, and the reason for it is Garoppolo. I had him in fantasy, so I saw his entire season of just doing nothing at times, and then other times he would throw 4 touchdowns. So he's a guy that plays up to his competition. If he has to go shot for shot with Cousins, he's willing to do it. If he knows, hey, we have the lead, as you said, they play with the lead a lot, they're going to run the ball down your throat. They are one of the biggest, strongest offensive lines when it comes to running the ball. But the key is they like to run to Staley. Running to the other side with McGlinchey, they don't do that as much or as well. Staley is a good road grader, and they love to run the ball left.
Cy, anything you'd like to share about your fantasy hockey team? Like, do you have Zach Parise or something?
Pass. I don't play fantasy because I'm in my 30s. I had a horrible basketball coach when I was a kid who said one thing that stuck with me. He used to say, beat tested, be tested.
Yeah.
Beat tested, be tested. It's the only thing you ever made any sense from him. Yes, this is a tested team.
Yeah.
Let's go beat them, and then we're the tested one. You kick the king off the mountain. I think that's an opportunity. I like that they've played good teams.
Yes.
You knock this team down, and you are the tested one.
Now, maybe there is a common thread here involving the Atlanta Falcons. All right? Atlanta Falcons beat the New Orleans Saints at New Orleans late in the season, and Atlanta went to Levi's Stadium and beat the Niners late in the season. I don't know. Might be a common thread for a Vikings team where we know defense travels, whether it's Danielle Hunter and or Everson Griffin on the inside, Anthony Harris with 7 interceptions this year. The Vikings defense travels.
Oh, it travels well, and that's the thing. Defense does travel, and the reason for it is it doesn't matter about crowd noise for them. They showed it in New Orleans that they're able to get after the quarterback. It starts up front. If Danielle and Everson Griffin and Limbaugh Joseph are going after the quarterback, and you had a little bit of a bar as well getting through Shamar Stephen and Afadio Denable, it makes it easier for guys like Harrison Smith and Anthony Harris to have some balls thrown up their way, and we know they can catch. So that's the one thing I like about this defense.
15 seconds, Cy.
I just can't wait to see what Zimmer has up his sleeve. When you put that weird defensive line scheme on tape and Sendejo at nickel, that's not going to be the end of it. There's going to be schemes upon that scheme, and I can't wait.
Cy Amundson, Ron Johnson, and I'm Paul Allen. Vikings and Niners. Hopefully we can advance to the NFC title game. And that's Vikings Game Plan from the TCO studios. Thanks for watching.